Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, guys. My name is Yaqut Zaman. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's go on to Instagram as well. All right. So, hope you guys are having a fantastic time, enjoying yourselves in this beautiful weather, mashallah, outside. All right. So, done. Okay. My name is Yaqut Zaman, guys, by the way. Every Fridays I have a live stream, and you guys, I get to talk to you guys and catch up on the latest, alhamdulillah. As you can see, I'm dressed up for the occasion, on the Jummah today. So it's white thobe. Problem with this thobe, this is a tailor-made thobe I made in Mecca when I went Umrah about 5 years ago. And what happened was I was telling the guy to make it slightly shorter, like don't make it too long, raise it up a bit. And either he didn't understand me or he made a mistake, and what happened was he actually made it narrow at the bottom, slightly narrow. So now when I walk in this, it's very hard to walk. So qadar of Allah. So make sure, guys, when you make thobes, make sure you get all the measurements right. Wa alaikum assalam, Abu Hafs. Alhamdulillah, I'm very good. Thank you very much. Ameen. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless you, my brother. All right, so let's check this out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. AP, how are you? I'm very well, thank you very much. If a person realizes that after salam that he had to do sajda sahu but forgot to do so, can he still do it? Yes, he can, so long as he hasn't moved away from the qibla. AP, however, he changed his position to cross-legged and also wiped his face. No, still he can still do it. That wouldn't be amal kathir. If my brother has already prayed in the masjid but I miss congregation, then can at home I be the imam? He joins jama'ah. Intending nafal, no, you can't be the imam. Going to Hanafis, you can't, because you prayed your salat already. You can be the follower and make him be the imam, but you can't be the imam. But that's only, Hanafi say that's only applies to two salats, Zuhr and Isha. You can't do it for the other three salats. Is it correct that if a man and a woman are not praying in congregation, then the rules of a woman standing behind the man doesn't apply? That's correct. She can pray next to him as well, and that won't affect the vegetable. That's 100% correct. Khidr wa alaikum assalam, my brother. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for asking, my brother. I'm very well, thank you very much. What's the ruling on praying behind an imam with a very poor qira'at, such that the letters sound like they are being changed? What I would suggest is make a recording of his qira'ah, give it to someone who's a qari, who knows recitation, and let him listen to it. And if he says to you, repeat, then repeat. Sika wa alaikum assalam, Abu Bakr wa alaikum assalam. Can we wash ihram in the washing machine before we? Yes, you can. Is it better to trim the hair for Umrah and shave for Hajj? If it's very long, yes. Otherwise, no. When do we purify ourselves for Umrah, cutting nails, armpit hair? So before you go for Umrah. If a person has bushy eyebrows, can they thread the upper part and make it look normal? I assume you're asking regarding a woman. So as long as they don't thin the eyebrows, right? So look at my eyebrows, guys. My thick eyebrows, mashallah. Yeah, so if I was a woman and I was to make them very thin, then that would not be allowed. But if I was just to kind of neaten them up, then there wouldn't be any problem in that. My bushy eyebrows make me look very serious, don't they? They make me look like if you didn't know me, you probably think this guy is scary. This guy's like proper strict Moli Saab. He's like a strict Moli Saab. Don't get on the wrong side of this Moli Saab. Muhammad, is the opinion of being naked without need being allowed absolutely a valid opinion within the madhab? Yes, it's an opinion valid within the madhab, meaning that a person should have this kind of element of shyness inside of them, that they shouldn't walk around the house naked on their own. But if there's a need to do so, then it's allowed. Wa alaikum assalam. You don't want to have an accident, fall down, hit yourself, and then you have to call the ambulance, and the ambulance comes in and says, Kya baat hai yaar? You know. Saqib, wa alaikum assalam. My brother Saqib from Stoke. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Amina, Mufti Sahab, I hope it's okay to ask this question, but I was wondering, that if we want people to understand that there is no such thing as sunnah style of dressing, then shouldn't scholars like you wear Western clothes at least sometimes? That would really, of course, I 100% agree with you. Very good. In my salah, if I had ghalabatul dhann, that I prayed 3, then after getting up, my dhann changed and I sat down thinking, while hesitating, then I did sajda. Is that valid? Yes. So, is an English only Quran haram? No. What about using it for da'wah purpose? Yes, it's fine. The scholars said that you should not have a Quran without Arabic in the days when there was a very strong chance of people misinterpreting the Quran or changing it. Nowadays, internet and all sorts of things have come out now, so it's very, very difficult now for people to alter the Quran. Learning adab, Allahumma barik, as in on the day of departure or day before. Yeah, so whenever you want, my brother. Yeah, there's no like strict ruling regarding it, but it's just that make it a bit, obviously if you've got bushy armpits, then get rid of the hair. Would the same apply to a man? A man should not adorn themselves like a woman. So men should not be doing those things with their eyebrows. In the middle, you can get rid of the hair in the middle. That's totally fine. Yeah, but for a man, if it's like very bushy and he wants to cut it with the scissors and trim them and make them look a bit more neater, that's fine. I'm traveling and in my bag I have to keep the Quran. Okay, 1 second. The phone froze there. I'm traveling and in my bag I have to keep the Quran, but the bag is in a space where my leg will point. So is it considered disrespecting? If there's a need for it to have in your bag and you have to put your bag there, then it's okay, inshallah. But otherwise, you try to put your bag for somewhere else. Assalamu alaikum, Claymore. Ahla wa sahlan. What do you say about, mashallah, Claymore? I like your Arabic summarizations again in poems. Guys, check it out. Check out the Diwan Ali and check out Claymore's rendition of the poem into Arabic. It's very nice. I like them. I like reading them. What do you say about memorizing Quran without a teacher? Yes, you can do it. In fact, there are some apps that can actually help you. What's the app, guys, called that helps you memorize Quran? Is it Quranly or something? That helps you memorize Quran. Forgot what it's called. Someone was mentioning it to me a while back, and I heard some good reviews about it. Basically, you can memorize and read the Quran too, and it kind of picks up on your errors. But what you should do, Claymore, is after every so often read the section to someone. So after every so often, contact someone and say, "Can I read to you?" And then tell them to find your mistakes, and then just keep yourself in check. MK1 Flash, so alaikum assalam. If I am saving up for Hajj and have amount, is that amount zakatable? Yes, that's a zakatable amount, unless you have made an agreement with the Hajj organizer or the operator. So you've come into a contract with them and you owe them money, then that won't be zakatable. What is the ruling of a person putting a mint in his mouth during ihram? He removed it immediately. No, it's fine. Yeah, that's fine because that's food day. So food generally is fine. The smell and odor of food. What is laughing in salat? Sometimes I feel like I'm laughing, but it's just breathing. Also, no, it's fine. Your salat's fine. Can you completely shave the beards of the cheek? Yes. Sorry, it says, I'm just fearful. Would the curse apply to a man if he did so? If he did so, tartil? Is that tartil? Is that a different question? Is that same question? Tartil app. Tartil app. Yeah, that's the one. Tartil. Inshallah, it won't apply to the man. But as in, for the man, what will apply is the other curse, which is trying to resemble a woman. Yeah, tashabbuh bin nisa. So you try to escape one, but then you fall into another. You know what I'm saying? Today I had Juma, mashallah, at St. Cofield, and after that some brothers wanted to take me for lunch. So I had lunch, so I feel sleepy now. Proper Lebanese food, I feel sleepy. How do we travel with Islamic books and Qurans as we can't put them in a backpack? So what I would suggest is try to put them in a place which is more respectful. If you can't, then putting them at the feet would be allowed as a last resort. Right? So normally if you're traveling, you put it in your backpack, or you put your backpack in your front, or you have it in a high place, if there's like an overhead luggage. Alaikum assalam, Muhammad Prairie, ahla wa sahla, long time, my brother from Chicago. Farhan Ahmad, salam. If someone breaks their fast intentionally without a valid reason, do they have to? So if it's a Ramadan fast, if it's inside of Ramadan, then if it's without like a reason, then you have to make up 60 fasts. But if it's outside of Ramadan, then no. What advice would you give for helping a new revert settle into Islam? What takes priority when teaching them? I'm not really kind of sure about this because I don't really deal in that area. The best people to speak to would be people like Aira. Contact Aira, they'll be able to help you with that. But from my own, on top of my mind, I would say try to help them, because see, a lot of people, Islam, it makes it easier to practice Islam when you got social support. So try to give them support. Yeah. So obviously they should learn the basics of Islam, the faraid, salat, and fasting and all that. But try to give them support. The main thing is a lot of people, it's just like, for example, someone who's an addict, obviously not a good resemblance, but someone who's an addict and they're trying to get off drugs or alcohol, you've got to be support for them, right? People need support. People don't realize, especially men need a lot of support in these things as well. So people think men don't need support, but men do need support, right? So I think that would be the best thing. If a particular action is makruh tahrimi, is it fine to say it is haram if the person does not know the makruh tahrimi means? I would say, instead of saying haram, say it's not allowed in Islam. That's what I resort to. I just say, look, it's not allowed, it's sinful. If someone breaks their fast intentionally without a valid reason, do they have to? Okay, answer. Is the part under the lip classed as beard? Can we remove it? Yes, you can remove it. Yeah, the soul patch. Yeah, the soul patch under the beard, this part here. You can see over there. Mine is a bit discolored. Sorry, I meant mint sweet. Is that okay? Yes, that's okay. You can eat any food in ihram. Biryani, even if it smells nice. You can eat oranges if it smells like zest, or smells zesty or citrusy. Mint, you can eat mint. If I'm in the state of ihram and I walked into a perfume shop and the member of staff sprayed perfume onto me as I was walking in, would this necessitate dam? Yes. Yeah. If they did it onto you, yeah, then you'd have to. Let's say I just prayed my Zuhur, I went to the masjid and for Asr, and before joining I accidentally intended Zuhur again. Would my Salah be valid even though my intention and the Imam's intention is different? No. If you made intention for Zuhur, then it won't be valid. As Muslims, we understand that if we have children with severe disabilities, that is a test from Allah Ta'ala. So if parents don't want to keep such a child and admit him in care home for kids such as disabilities, they won't be sinful for it if there's like a real valid reason. But at the end of the day, it's left to the individual. Mums would find it very hard to separate from their children. It doesn't matter how disabled that child is. So if it's very difficult for the parents to take care of them, then obviously that's a separate issue. Yeah, so they won't be considered to be sinful, inshallah. In India, the madaris teach Arabic books in Urdu, and the students don't have the ability to access the shuru. Then the people become alims, but many of them can't answer basic questions. Thoughts? Allahu Alam, my brother. I don't think that's the case in every madrasa. Yeah, but obviously, if they can't understand the Arabic text, then it's a bit of a waste of time, isn't it, in the madrasa? If a person, I studied in Pakistan, and there were many people who used to rely on shuru, but at the same time, there was many people who could read the Arabic and understand it fine. If a Muslim was allergic to all meat except pork and he needed meat in his diet, otherwise he'd be at risk of dying, would it be permissible for him to eat pork? Possibly. It all depends. It's a very hypothetical question. It's like a very extreme question. It's like, for example, the doctor saying, this particular medicine contains pork and you have to take this. Ishaq, alaykum assalam. Are there any ahadith or ayat about stealing wealth of children, not necessarily orphans, but promising children money and gifts? I can't think of any. Jazakallah khair, because I read somewhere that chewing gum is problematic in ihram, so I thought, I don't know, I've never come across that. If you can maybe show me the text for it. But if they don't, then I hope they would get extra. Yes, of course. Remember this, if there's two people and they live on the same street and they have the same lifestyle, but one has a child that has disabilities and one doesn't, the one that has child disabilities, Allah has given them that. And just like Allah has given the other person a child without disabilities, the person with disabilities will clearly have greater reward, much greater reward. Like on the day of Qiyamah, the person with the child that was free of disability will wish that their child had disabilities. It sounds strange, so they could get that reward. The Prophet ﷺ said that in one hadith that three people will get double the reward. Three people will get double the reward. Yeah. In the whole life, everything they do, they get double the reward than a normal person. And amongst them, one was a Christian or a Jew who, after living as a Christian and Jew, accepts Islam and then lives as a Muslim. Every salat they pray, every zakat they give, everything, they get double the reward of a normal Muslim because of the sacrifice they had to make to change religion. That's a very hard thing for them to do, specifically Jew and Christian. And the other one was a slave who, fulfills the rights of their master and fulfills Allah's rights. It's double the reward of a normal Muslim. And the third is a guy who has a slave girl. He brings her up, he educates her, he frees her, then he marries her. That man will get double the reward. So you imagine, that's just 3 examples. Imagine the people with children with disabilities and other physical disability they have of their own. They are just so, you can't even imagine the reward the person's going to get. Only on the day of judgment the people are going to realize. And that's it. We're going to say, I wish I had that problem as well. This is why the Prophet ﷺ and that lady who used to get fits in the middle of the street came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Messenger of Allah, I get these random fits. What do I do? Can you make dua to Allah that Allah removes it from me? And he said, I can make dua to Allah and it will go, or you can do sabr and Allah will give you Jannah for it. She heard that I'm going to get Jannah for this problem I have. He goes, I want Jannah, I'll do sabr. But can you ask Allah to keep my body concealed? Don't let my body become exposed when it happens to me. He goes, okay, and he made dua. So you imagine now this is a great, we don't realize, and we kind of measure everyone in our community exactly the same. All the men, all the women, and all those mums who are single mums, and all those men who are single fathers, and all those families who have disabled children, and all those who don't have, and those who live in big posh areas, and those who live in poor housing, and those who live on the streets. We consider all the same, aren't they? But Allah is going to treat them with a totally different measure on the day of Qiyamah. That's the mercy of Allah, that is. How do I overcome the struggle of contextualizing words? I think I've got a good grasp of grammar, but the translation doesn't make sense. You just got to do loads of reading, my brother. Do loads of reading. Read and read and read and read, honestly. It's just, and this is going to click. One day, tuck, like they say. Honestly, it's going to click. But you have to remember, you've only been studying Arabic for a few years compared to someone else who's been doing it for ages. So don't try to, measure yourself with a person who's got years of Arabic under their belt. What's the spanner next to your name? Okay. What would you advise someone who does such a thing to children? Fear Allah. They should fear Allah. Yeah, I would say just fear Allah. And did you find iftar very hard in the comparison? Of course, definitely. Iftar was hard. Definitely hard. Like I really, in the beginning, especially the first month, I struggled a lot because it was the workload, the amount of reading I had to do, and the style of text was really hard. Yeah, so I did struggle a lot. But alhamdulillah, because I was very close to my teacher, I got a lot of moral support from my teacher, and that's the kind of thing that usually sort of like, gives it to you. Okay. What does Imam Tirmidhi mean when he grades a hadith as Hasan Sahih? Okay, you can check my Usul Hadith course on that. There's a whole big discussion behind it. So if you check my Usul Hadith course, inshallah, in there, it's not like a 2-minute answer. It's very long. There's about 7 opinions, and there's Ibn Hajar has 2 opinions. Rahima wa alaikum assalam. There are nasheeds out there which are vocals only, yet the hands and voice are used to imitate instruments. Is it permissible? You know what? I've been struggling with trying to understand this masala myself. Because do we treat these like, is the musical sounds wrong? Or is it you using an instrument that produces those sounds? Is that wrong? And what if it's from a human voice? And what if it's from like a parrot? Or what if it's from, one of those birds that can imitate things? Or what if it's from synthetic, computer composed? I find it very difficult to be able to. What I would suggest is that if it's human voice, there is permissibility for it. That's what I would say. Yeah. And what about Islamic vocals, only version songs? Yeah, I wouldn't see a problem with that. As long as the song does not distract you from remembering, like, does not distract you from, as long as the song does not motivate you to do sin, that's the main thing. If a song, even if it's like Islamic so-called, but it's motivating you to sin, to get desires for sexual gratification, stuff like that, then not allowed to listen. Is it allowed to do Qurbani Udhiyah on behalf of Rasulullah Sallallahu and our loved ones? Inshallah, yes. I heard there's a hadith on it, but I heard that if it's fine, because Sadaqah Jariyah we can do on anyone's behalf. Any wazifa dua for couples struggling with having kids? Unfortunately, I don't know. What I would suggest is first of all, try medical treatments as best as you can. Go to the doctors, or I think Turkey, there's apparently supposed to be like something in Turkey that you can go there and they have these procedures. A lot of people have been successful with it. You could try that. If that's not working, then what I would suggest is, maybe it might be something which is medical or something. And then thirdly, there are some du'as that people have, like Rabbi la tadharni fardan wa anta khairul warithin. Yeah, there are some du'as that you can read. I don't know, wallah alam. You gotta ask people who have had kids for that. Thank you so much. May Allah Ta'ala reward you. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Is it okay to attend a study Kitab al-Tawheed? Original author is if you want. What's the benefit of reading if you don't understand? This is what puts me off picking up other books. Reading, you don't understand even Arabic books, yeah? So look, it's like, imagine it's like this, wax on, wax off. Yeah, Karate Kid. Karate Kid, when Mr. Miyagi says, you ought to do wax on, wax off, right? And he doesn't understand why he's doing it. But later on, he realizes the importance of this, like parrying. He understands the importance of it. Students have to realize they don't have to understand the process they're going through in order to achieve the results. So what happens is students are frustrated. They're trying to think, I can't understand why I have to do this for. Why do I have to go through this for? Why do I have to, they don't, especially when they're studying sarf. Students usually say, why do I have to memorize all this kind of words I don't understand? It's just, you have to go through the muddy water to get to the clear water, right? You just got to keep going and going and going. It's one of those kind of learning curves, you can say. Please pray for me. I'm suffering from severe depression disorder, my major depression. Guys, make dua for our brother Arsh Azim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him shifa kamil. May Allah give him protection from illnesses, mental illnesses. Subhanallah, so many people have depression and suffering from these problems. Ya Allah, may Allah make it easy. I mean, I don't know what the treatment for depression is, but I've heard, like going freshwater swimming. So you go to fresh water, like a lake or a pond, and you go swimming regularly, once a week or once every 2 weeks, and you swim in the cold water, and that's supposed to rewire the brain. I heard there's some studies on there. I don't know if that's true. What do you think about it, the Hasan Sahih grading? I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. When the major books differ, like Radd al-Muhtar, Fath al-Mughith, etc. Okay, what advice would you give someone with bad mental health, OCD? You need to get treatment. Honestly, so many people contact me about OCD. And when I say to them, you got to get treatment, they say, I've tried it. I've tried treatment. No, you have to seriously go and get treatment. Treatment is, don't be embarrassed. Don't think to yourself, the doctor won't understand my problems. I've got problems in Sajda Sahu, and I've got problems with saying divorce to my wife, and thoughts about divorce, and thoughts about Allah. And do not worry about that. Get yourself treated. There's a guy called Sheikh Abdullah Misra. If you can contact him, apparently he does one-to-one sessions. I don't know how much he charges, but he does one-to-one sessions with people also. And I've heard some really good results from that, like very quick results. Abdullah Misra, yeah, I think he's from Canada. Check him out. If you really suffer from, If you really suffer from waswasa, you need to get yourself sorted. Honestly, this is no joke. It's not like I'm trying to, flog people off or fob them off. I'm not fobbing anyone off. I'm saying this is the reality. I'm only going to tell you what I can do. So people ask me questions, and then I know the kind of question they're asking is just like a repetitive question because they need to convince their mind. Anonymous, who comes first in terms of emotional support, mother or wife? I don't know. Wallahu alam. What was that book you mentioned? See, with these family things, let me give you some advice, guys. Don't use the rules of Islam to try and figure out relationships. Never use the rules of Islam. Now, that doesn't mean, I'm not saying throw Islam out the window. What I'm saying is, if you try to look for the rights in Islam for relations with people, you're going to end up living like a robotic life. You're going to end up hurting yourself, hurting other people. The Sahaba never had this. You never hear Sahaba saying that, okay, how do I deal with, relationship with my wife or this or that? You don't find that. What you find is them getting on with it. Yeah. So, what I would suggest is if anyone has problems deciding whether they should support their mum or their wife, they really need to get marriage counseling. That's a big issue, that is. If you're confused between your wife and your mum, you need to get marriage counseling because there's a problem. Your wife and you have such a problem that you don't know whether you're supposed to support your wife or your mum. That's an issue. Either the mum is being arrogant and she doesn't want to, she doesn't want the husband to have good relations with his wife, or the wife's being arrogant, or there's some problem. So that needs to be resolved. What was that book you mentioned a while ago about 3 different aqidas? I can't remember. So how do you manage to keep consistent, and how do you deal with getting out of mental ruts? So let me tell you what I do, guys. Let me tell you my routine, my daily routine, the kind of main things. First of all, in the morning, so I pray Fajr, everything. Do my azkar after, right? Read my ta'awudh, right? 3 Qul huwallahu ahad, Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu birabbin nas. And what I do is I go outside, and if there's some ground or some soil or some grass, I step on there for a while. Have you heard of grounding? I try to do that. That has helped me a lot. It makes me feel calmer. Try it yourself. Walk barefooted on soil or on grass, and you will not. It's 5-10 minutes. You feel natural. You feel calmer. You're more relaxed. You try to do it a few times a day. I do it once in the morning. Then I read Surah Yasin every single morning. Alhamdulillah, Surah Yasin I read. Yeah, and that helps a lot. That organizes my day. And Allah just behind the scenes organizes everything that happens. It happens for the best. And then after that, obviously, have my breakfast, and then I go work, and then I come back, and then after work, I have I'm a bit kind of like a routine kind of guy anyway. Yeah, a bit OCD kind of guy. So I have this specific routine. I make my time for videos. I have a bit of rest, and then I eat my food. Then in the evening, I go work again, and I come back late at night, and then I do my sometimes in the day I'll do my walking. Right? So I'll walk back from work home, which takes about an hour to walk. So that way I get a lot of exercise in, I get a lot of thoughts, I can think a lot. Right? So there's like masail I'm thinking about, or just generally, it's just very good for thought. I even practice my Arabic, speaking Arabic to myself, speaking Urdu to myself, speaking Pashto to myself, just to try and improve. I just do like different skills to try and improve myself. And I have targets. I try to give myself targets. I need to achieve this by the end of the week. I need to make this many videos by the end of the week. I need to do this. So I think if you give yourself targets, it helps a lot. At the end of the day, obviously do my reading, and then I wind down, and then go to sleep like that. So I think that's what you have to give yourself targets. Have routines that you can easily manage. Stay away from social media as much as you can. Honestly, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and even Twitter, these 4 things are your enemies. Imagine these like the 4 enemies these are, standing at each corner of you, trying to waste your time. Yeah, and they seem to make you feel happy about wasting your time when you're doing it. Then afterwards you realize, look how much time I wasted, half an hour, 45 minutes, just scrolling through, trivial things. So my advice would be, try to really be very disciplined about your social media, honestly. Try to delete it from your phone sometimes. Delete it from your phone for a few days, and then go back to it. Then delete it again, then go back to it, like that. You'll see, you'll feel better naturally. Assalamu alaikum Zamarur. Zaid sanga hal de, khairiyat de, tabiyat de khadi. Der mein yad when joining congregation late, do we say thana or do we say it in the first rakat we make up? First rakat you make up. How do you find the muftabihi forgot to add the part? Well, I would say study iftar. It's not an easy thing. Very long process. There's many layers to exactly how to understand the muftabihi. Yeah, so it's not like one book that you can just learn the muftabihi. If that was the case, there's no need to do iftar course. So you have to do an iftar course. Is it permissible for a Muslim barber to give clean shaves? I would say there would be possibility for it, yeah. Akhi, what's the best tips and advice for a teen Muslim living in the West? My best advice would be that remember your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to be a good Muslim for your family, for yourself, for your community. Try to be the best Muslim that you can. And don't let other people pressuring you into doing things that you're not supposed to do. I think teens usually have a lot of hormones going on, desires and things. And, sometimes they can go into relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend. Sometimes they can end up, into haram, drinking things, smoking things they're not supposed to. Very important to keep focused at a young age. Do you have to like every subject as a student of knowledge? No, of course not. Generally, I love hadith, Quran, tafsir, but I find ulum al-kalam very confusing. Yes, a lot of people find it confusing. Sheikh Abdullah Misra, he's done a podcast with Sheikh Shadi Misri. Yeah, okay. So guys, OCD guys, check it out. Alaikum assalam, TMZ, ahla wa sahlan. Jum'ah Mubarak to you, my brother. How are you? I'm very well. Could you give a mini curriculum for a good base in hadith studies? Because I feel like the Dars in Nizami. So what I would suggest is, ask me tomorrow, inshallah. Ask me tomorrow about this because I don't want to spend too much time on explaining all these kind of things. So inshallah, tell me tomorrow. I'll give you a nice long one that I think which will be really beneficial in hadith and also ulum al-hadith as well. So remind me tomorrow, inshallah. Oh, actually, tomorrow I might not have live stream because one of my friends has opened up a shadi hall and he's invited me for food there. So I think I should be able to make it back. Inshallah. Okay, you know what, TMZ, I'll explain to you because I promised you, and if I can't come tomorrow, then I'm going to feel bad. So look, there's two sciences that you really want to focus on. Hadith, which is the matans, right? That we call riwayah. And then there's diraya. Diraya means like the science behind understanding the grading of the hadith. If you want to master the first one, right, hadith, start off with basic hadith first of all. Try to go through with a teacher. Basic book like, for example, Riyadus Salihin, yeah, basic book, or the 40 hadith series that I've done on my YouTube channel. Try to go through those, grasp the understanding of hadith. 40 hadith of Nawawi as well. Bulugh al-Maram, try to go through that. Try to go through Nimawi's Athar Sunan, right? These are kind of ahkam related as well. Then go through something like Muwatta. Go through Mishkat. Then go through the Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar. After Mishkat, it's very important to go through Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar. When you do Mishkat, make sure you understand the meaning of each hadith. You don't have to extract rulings from it. No, just understand what the ulama say about the hadith. That's it. When you go to Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, you'll see how the Hanafis approach the hadith. After studying Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, then you can do the 6 books of hadith. I think that is probably the best way to approach this. Now, that's my own sort of like thing that you can go through the hadith. When you're studying hadith as well, make sure once you get past Mishkat and you start Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, make sure you understand the concept of a chain of hadith, how a chain is formed, different chains out there, right? So the whole world of chains you understand. That's what I get my students to do. I'll make them make chains, Bukhari chains, Muslim chains, Tirmidhi chains, so they understand how the chain and they can visualize it. In the science of ulum al-hadith, make sure you start off with a basic, really basic text. Like, for example, start off with something like, I don't know. I mean, I usually teach my own usul hadith I got from my teacher. It's a very sort of like definition-based definition. So you can start off with, Dr. Mahmoud Tahan's Mustalahat al-Hadith, Taysir Mustalahat al-Hadith. You can start off with that if you like. Or you can start off with something like Bayquniya or in Nukhbat al-Fikr. Yeah, Bayquniya, then Nukhbat al-Fikr. Or I usually do Nukhbat al-Fikr first and then Bayquniya. And then maybe you can even do something like Dr. What's his name? I forgot his name now. Tariq Iwadullah. Tariq Iwadullah. He's got a book called Lughat al-Muhaddith. It's a poem and then it's a sharh as well. Trying to go through that and read the sharh as well of it. And then you can move on to Nuzhatun Nazar. And then you can move on to Tadrib al-Rawi. And then you can move on to Muqaddim ibn Salah. I think if you've done that, you'll be very solid in Ulum al-Hadith. I just wanted to give some feedback regarding an answer you gave and how much it helped my family. I asked you about giving zakat to a poor man whose wife owns jewelry more than nisab. We thought he is not eligible, but you told us to correct position Hanafi. But I could tell my mom about I could tell my mom about it. She told me that the man's wife called her and she was crying because they were in a very difficult situation, needed a huge amount of money. To cut a long story short, now everyone's helping them with zakat. Subhanallah, look at that. And you're getting the reward for it. MashaAllah. All that reward. Well done. That's the thing. See, a lot of times people in the world, they create in their minds this, unfortunately, an incorrect understanding of a particular masala. And the life becomes so hard for them. And then people assume Islam is difficult simply because the problem came from individuals who gave a wrong understanding. I actually wrote a post today, if you saw it on my social media. It was about the misunderstandings that you get when you're studying in an Islamic institute and a madrasa system, right? So this is a very important post, I think. I know these posts, they just come to my mind sometimes. So I'll just get this idea, I got to write on this. Sometimes I'll be walking down the street in my long walks, and again, idea, I think, you know what, I've got to write on this. I've got to write on that. And I think that is something which helps me a lot, really time to think about ideas and think about. As Hanafi, should we recite according to the qira'ah of Ibn Amir? Any qira'ah is fine. Hanafis do not have any preference on a particular qira'ah. Qira'ah of Abu Hanifa was most likely the Kufan qira'at. Alaikum assalam. I just listened to a song and reminded me that you are in the sun is called Tora Resham Lagta Hai. Would I be sinful if I went with the gold nisab? I've always been told we follow the silver nisab. If there's a reason for going with gold nisab, a valid reason, then possibly it'll be fine. But otherwise, you should go for the silver nisab. Do you think that an institute should stop Alimia students from having long hair if it is messy? And possibly, yeah. Why not? In our madrasa in Pakistan, we were not allowed to have long hair. Every exam, to enter the exam hall, you had to have hair that was short. And exams were every 3 months. That's fine. So it won't affect income as impermissible. I don't understand. What was the question? What was your question, my brother Zed? So we don't have a system like the Hanbalis, i.e. if Muntaha and Iqna agree. No, we don't have that. Yeah, not in Hanafi school. Hanafi school, the Mufta bihi, you have individuals who basically can give tasheeh and tarjih of a particular masala, but then it's up to the later scholars in implementation. Ifta is taking what the ulama have said, the theory, and then in the real world, seeing which answer would fit best. That's basically what ifta is. So you have like an official position in the school, but then if ifta actually, sometimes you don't take the official position, you take another position. It's a bit strange. Akhi, I have another question. If I do wudu and skip the washing of the feet, I eat something like lunch and then come back and wash my feet. Yes, Hanafi say it's fine. Fight the unbelievers until Allah's religion is for Allah. Nowhere in the Quran does Allah say fight the unbelievers. Nowhere in the Quran. It's talking about in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, those who were disbelievers, the enemies. So the enemies basically were the disbelievers. So imagine an army leader says to the soldiers, right, fight the French. And 500 years time, people say, look how racist the English were. They used to say, fight the French. Look how racist they were. No, of course they're not. It was at that time, the French were the enemy. Does that make sense? Thank you so much for the in-depth answer. You're welcome, my brother. Boy, welcome. Ahlan wa sahlan. What's your view on taking from other schools? Permissibility, if there's a need for it. What could be the acceptable reasons for using gold as nisab? For example, like if there is a student who's in university and they've got like 500, 600, 700 pounds savings, but they know in a short while, like in a few months, they're going to have to spend that money, right? So for them, taking the gold would make more sense. Okay, you are talking like statistics. If a barber shaves beard, income won't be impermissible? No. As Hanafis, are we Ash'aris or Maturidis? We're nothing. Hanafi madhab came before Ash'ari and Maturidi. Okay, how is the official position decided? So that's what I'm saying to you, my brother Muhammad Yar. You need, like, imagine someone says to you, how does a doctor decide which medicine is best for the illness? Yeah, okay, doctor can't explain it to you in 2 minutes. Each medicine is to do with each problem. Masail to do with tahara might differ from masail to do with inheritance, and masail to do with hajj might differ from masail to do with muamalat. It's a whole big jungle out there. So you want a quick answer, don't you? You want like this shortcut that if it existed, no one would need to do a mufti course because you've got all the muftabis. Unfortunately, my brother Muhammad, that doesn't exist in the real world. Yeah, it's is it wajib to listen to a sayyid, someone who lineage? No, you don't have to. If one came late for dhuhr and missed the first 2 rakat, and when they stand up to make them, does one recite Fatiha or stay silent for the duration of Fatiha? No, so they have to read Fatiha and the surah as well. So if they came late, the late rakats that they pray are in place of the first rakats they missed. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Arsalan, ahlan wa sahlan. If you were to take over a masjid committee, what changes would you make? Alhamdulillah, ya Allah, save me from taking over a committee. What would you get rid of? I don't know. Wallah. I think the main thing is, look, you have to look at the aims and objectives of what does it mean to run a masjid. There's aims and objectives of running a business, a shop. There's aims and objectives of having a family. Aims and objectives of all sorts of things. You need to understand what are the aims of the masjid. Once you understand those, then you'll know what to do. So maybe in a particular community, the aims and objectives might be slightly different from another community. It might differ. Generally, I would say, in my community anyway, the aims and objectives of the masjid is, first of all, to facilitate for everyone to be able to pray salat in the masjid without any difficulty, to teach them the basics of deen free of charge, and to help them to recognize Islam as their faith, right, belonging. I think that would be the 3 main things of the community. Maybe there might be some other things, but those are 3 things that come to my mind. Now, then you'd obviously run things accordingly. Right? My local masjid, mashallah, is very good. Like, probably one of, like, there's probably a few masjids in Birmingham that I really would consider to be models for how they have activities. And one is my local masjid. Not really amazing, but it's very, very, for a small masjid, it's very nice. Alaikum assalam, my brother Masir Ali Sahib. Is there anything you would change about the Dars in Nizami program? Loads of things. I would change loads of things. Don't get me started, my brother. When will mistakes in recitation nullify salat? If it changes the meaning to something really bad. As a beginner student, should I just follow a very big later mujtahid like Ibn Abidin? As a beginner student, first of all, study the books. Study all the books. Do not make any decisions. Study the books. Listen to your teachers. Then after that, decide. Alaikum assalam. Is it halal to sell cats? Yes, according to the Hanafi school. What's the main difference between Husami and the Manar? Very few differences. Very few. Manar is probably more well accepted by the scholars and many shuruhat on it. Husami doesn't have many. Husami's got a very nice one by Farfur. I think it's called Al-Mudhib or Al-Madhab. It's a very nice detailed one. Yeah, you can check that out. But Matan Manar is like, Husami is very like condensed. It's like what Kanz al-Daqaiq is to Kuduri. Makes sense? Yeah. Oh, is it raining? Subhanallah. Look at that. Nazar bhai. Makes sense? So it's like what Kanz al-Daqaiq is to Kuduri. Akhi, I have a question. After wudu, can I have a face mask for the face on and pray? Yes, you can. But in those first two rakats they missed, they would have stayed silent behind the imam. Yeah, so the ruling of masbook in Hanafi school, basically masbook basically means you're now in charge of your salat yourself now. You're in charge of your own salat. So you have to do everything as though you were praying on your own. Does that make sense? Did you find Ihya Ulumuddin difficult? In the beginning, yes, I did. Yeah, in the beginning when I was studying with this, I found it very hard. But now, alhamdulillah, I find it easy. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna finish it there, guys. MashaAllah, to all those people, all the Twitter people, and all the Facebook people, and all the YouTubers that are watching. May Allah bless all of you and keep you happy and save you from calamities and difficulties and hardships and harms. And all those people who are going to take clips from my videos, all welcome to you guys as well. Jummah Mubarak to all of you guys. Ahlan wa sahlan. And that's it, guys. Okay. If we were reading Durood and the Imam does Salam, do we stop and follow? No, finish off. You finish off and then give Salam. The apostolic Muslim. Alaikum Salam. What is the position on MIAW? IT, Allah knows best. Abu Bakr, wa alaikum assalam. Anonymous, Jazakallah khair, you're welcome. Muhammad Fahim, we need to clip that hadith. And inshallah, I'm going to tell you like a very detailed one. That was just off the top of my head. I like coming out with syllabus or syllabize because my mind is very creative. I have a very creative mind. I like, when I was young with my siblings, I used to make loads of games up. Like, because there was no internet or anything. And there was only 4 channels on the TV. So I used to be the one in the house that used to invent games. Like we used to play games in the house, hide and seek, and those strange ones we were totally made up, don't even exist. Yeah, and so from a young age, I've always been creative. I like thinking about things. How could we do things in a different way? How could we make things more engaging? So that's why syllabus is something which I like. I like dealing with syllabus and how the books are supposed to be taught. The main thing about syllabus is not what you study, it's how it's taught. People don't realize this. People think it's all about what you study, and that's why you have guys years studying Nahu, and I'm thinking, you 5 years, 6 years, you've been studying Nahu. You're mentally okay, my brother. Yeah, you shouldn't be studying Nahu for like 6 or 7 years. So, and if they had studied 6 or 7 years, you expect them to be like Sibawayhs. But unlike, Sibawayh, they end up like Subways. Now, the little joke there, guys. Yeah, you don't have to laugh now, but think about it later. You might want to laugh later. To end to live, could you please give some tips, advice to future Tulab Ilm students? Yeah, I will give you some tips, and my brothers and sisters. What I would say is, look, when you're studying, there's a few things you should keep in the back of your mind. Number one, your teacher will always know more than you. Always remember that. Your teacher will always know more than you. Number one. Keep that in mind, yeah? Number two is your teacher will make mistakes. Even though they know more than you, but they will now and again make mistakes. And number three is that don't try to think yourself to be greater than the system. Sometimes what happens, a student goes to a madrasa, they think themselves to be greater than the system. Right? I think they're more intelligent. I think they're more, aloof or superior to the system. This is generally what brings them down later on in life. Right? Never ever do that. Just remember these things. Your teacher is always more knowledgeable than you, and you will have a teacher will make mistakes, and you're not greater than the system. Just flow with the system. Study as hard as you can. Respect your teachers. Respect your institute. Honestly, I've seen students who unfortunately try to pick mistakes at their teachers deliberately. They disrespect their teachers, or they undermine their teachers, or they think they're better than the institute. And honestly, I have not seen any of them like doing anything exceptional after they qualify. Without a lie, there's no exaggeration, nothing, right? Because ilm will only raise you if you are already humble. If you think you're up, ilm can't raise you. You have to be humble for ilm to raise you up. Make sense? That's my advice. Jazakallah khair, Rahima. You're welcome. That would also mean it's halal to buy cats. Yes. Speaking of games, we need to play 8-ball pool. We need to play games night. But I don't know how we would play. How are we going to play, online games night? Because games night is where you have everyone around the table. And then obviously there's no cheating or anything. And yeah, so I'm thinking if we did a games night, who would be ready for games night? Is it me, or are things not properly taught in British Western Madaris? It's you, and it's it's you, and it's the British Madaris. Subways. Technically, I don't have a personal teacher in fiqh yet. Can I just ask trusted muftis? Yes, you can, inshallah. Did you teach Bro Haji? What's your opinions on him? I can't remember teaching. I think I used to teach this Arabic course long, many years ago. And he said to me that he attended those talks. But I honestly can't remember exactly which year that was in. What's your opinions? When I do my PhD on him, I will tell you. Kahoot Islamic quiz. Kahoot, isn't it? Charades. There's like this really good game that you can get where you have to like try to use communication skills. You have to use drawing, or you have to use some sort of teams. Can you use ChatGPT for Islamic questions? If you want un-Islamic answers, go for it. Yeah, because you have no idea how ChatGPT comes out with the answer. Muhammad, do you have a video on fiqh syllabus? No, I haven't, but that's a very good question. That is actually. You know what? I'm gonna make a note of that. Fiqh syllabus video. Alaikum assalam, Nadam. All right, guys, take care, inshallah. I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.